Welcome back to another edition of IndiePower TV. We got a special guest, got some new music for you. He is a multi-instrumentalist, and he is Mason Pace. Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, man.
Well, it's our pleasure. We've got lots of good music that we're hearing from you, King of Hearts, and the Reborn video and all that. Tell us about. I knew we were just talking that you recorded music out here in Southern California, where we're based, which is a vibrant, hot spot, of so much creativity here. And you're right here in the Burbank and North Hollywood area. Tell us about how this album, came together, because I know you've been making music for many years, and this is the next big step.
Yeah, so in my hometown of Boca Raton, Florida, ever since I was 14 years old, I've been playing with a band, I've been performing out, and slowly but surely developing my songwriting and performance skills well. In 2018, I released my debut album called Whateverland, and that was a very nice debut project. But this is my sophomore EP called King of Hearts, and it is a modern hard rock and metal album. And we have a really nice and big and grand live performance now. And next month on August 13th, in my hometown, Boca Raton, I'm holding my album release show, and that'll be totally produced with me and my band playing the whole night.
Great to hear.
Now, not playing the whole night. I do have an opener named Beautiful Disaster, who's a really good young band, but
okay,
it'll be us, and that'll be sort of our big show in terms of being it around our new EP.
Yeah. Now, obviously, when you say hard rock, a lot of images and eras come to mind. Who were your biggest influences when you look in your heart of what artists really moved you and motivated you to do it yourself? Who were the biggest?
Well, I started out loving classic rock. I grew up listening to Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. Ozzy Osbourne is one of my really big role models, in lack of other words, when I'm talking about Ozzy Osbourne. And then my favorite band ever is Primus, and I think Les Claypool is a musical genius in his writing and his grooving.
You're frozen here. Can you hear me?
And some other influences that I have also include Def Leppard, Rage Against the Machine, and Randy Rhodes.
Yeah, speaking of Burbank, that's where Randy Rhodes was.
That's right.
He was in school, and of course his mother had the longtime music school right here in North Hollywood, right up the street from Steakhouse, the other studio you were recording at.
What's crazy is my producer was taught by Randy Rhodes. So he actually took me on a drive one day to see his high school, the high school that he and Randy Rhodes went to, the house that Randy lived in. It was pretty damn cool.
And what's your producer's name?
Brent Woods, sorry. Brent Woods plays with Sebastian Bach from Skid Row and Taylor Hawkinson, the Coattail Riders.
Sure, absolutely. We know Brent, and Kelly Rhodes, who is the older brother of Randy, speaks of him and several of the other students. And the guys that came in after Randy's unfortunate passing, and taught in the school, of course, Rudy Sarzo and George Lynch and a number of the people. But Yeah, they say Musonia, this music school you saw there on Laurel Canyon, when they opened that, those were just dirt roads. That's how early they started that. I believe it was back in the 30s or 40s.
That's nuts, man. But I love it.
But yeah, no, Randy, came up through that time, but really wasn't recognized until he, joined Ozzy, because those early Quiet Riot records really didn't completely showcase his sound, and it was just so fleeting. The two quick records with Ozzy, and of course, also crazy is Edward Van Halen grew up just a couple miles east of there in Pasadena. So
Yeah,
yeah, at one point in the Glendale Community College Auditorium, Randy Rhodes and Quiet Riot opened for Van Halen. It was the one time they actually shared a stage, and Kelly Rhodes talked about that, and it's pretty special that those two, musical guitar prodigies, icons, literally grew up in neighboring, neighborhoods.
exactly. Yeah, I have a record player, and one of my favorite records ever is the Ozzy Osbourne Randy Rhodes tribute. And that's just a live concert of Ozzy and Randy. Um, I don't know if it's his last concert, but it's one of like their best concerts. And Randy does a solo after Suicide Solution, and oh my God, it's just you can't hold a candle to that. You just can't. It's just so good.
Yeah, no, they were scrambling after his passing to figure out, what they had recorded, and, what they could put out. I mean, it's a shame that they didn't have like major film cameras rolling and filmed,
Right.
the concerts. Um, but yeah, those I spoke to that, went to those shows and knew about Randy. Of course, this is the days before there was a barrier and all that, so they would get there early and be right on the side of the stage in front of Randy, like right up to the edge of the stage, and just completely blown away by his performance alone. I mean, Ozzy obviously added to it, and Rudy and Tommy Aldridge, but just watching Randy alone for the set was just phenomenal. They said. Was there anything else you learned from Brent Woods? Being a prodigy, learning from Randy, and that besides producing, and how did you guys originally get together?
Well, funny enough, in 2017, I started off a festival. I opened for a festival called Rockfest 80s. And that is a 2-day festival that was down in like Pompano Beach area, which is just north of Miami. Um, and that featured Cheap Trick, Joan Jett, Sebastian Bach, um, Dokken. And then the next year when we did it, it featured Vince Neil, Ace Frehley, Tom Kiefer, Zebra, and a lot more. Night Ranger on that year as well. And when I did it in 2017, we started off the day at like noon. I played at noon. I was, what was it? I was probably 16 at the time when I did that and got that spot for that festival. And after our set at noon, we were just able to hang out backstage, and I actually got to meet Cheap Trick, who I absolutely love. I saw them when they opened for Aerosmith when I was like 9 years old. So I absolutely love Cheap Trick. I got to meet Joan Jett, and I got to meet Sebastian Bach. But when I met Sebastian Bach, with him was Brent Woods, because he was playing that show that night. And I got a picture with them. And before I even knew that he was going to be my producer, I had already met him in 2017. And then in 2020, he'd be recording my stuff. And that came about because of the person who put on Rockfest 80s is a childhood friend of Brent and really took me on under his wing and made that connection. And it turned out to be magical.
And who was that childhood friend?
His name is Roy Anthony.
Oh, wow. Good to
Yeah.
know. Now,
Roy puts on Rockfest 80s, so make sure to check out the Rockfest 80s concerts.
yes. Now, when you were selecting the songs for this EP, what was that process like? Because I'm sure you had probably more material than
Yeah,
made it on
so
here.
at the point that we met and I was ready to record, I had 10 songs that were ready to go that I had recorded at home at my home studio. I used Pro Tools. So I had really nice demos of 10 songs and I showed them to Brent. And Brent went through them all and he came up to me and he's like, it's these 5 that I would like to do the most. And he said, like, I know where you're going with it. I know that your sound is going to be grand. It's going to be big. And I had come to him with this. All my demos have that aura of being grand, sacred, driving, theatrical, energetic. And I came to him with that. And he was like, yeah, I totally dig what you're about. Let's do these 5. And Reborn and King of Hearts from my new EP, King of Hearts, is out on Spotify and YouTube right now. They've got their own YouTube videos that you can check out. And it is on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, all that good stuff.
Now, after your show record release party in Florida, what are your hopes to be able to take this music to the people? I know it's we're getting all these mixed signals. Things are opening up, but this Delta variant and all that is running crazy, and so it's this continued state of flux. I know obviously this time of year would be thousands of acts out on tour, and every one of these venues would be filled up 3, 4, 5 times a week. But what are your hopes to be able to do with this?
Well, as of 2019, I became a Gibson guitars artist. So there are events that'll be coming up soon with Gibson that I'll be doing. I have been booking gigs up in North Florida and Central Florida, which is a totally different setting than South Florida. And we took a trip up to a place called The Haven in Orlando to do our first show up there in that area, and got an overwhelmingly positive response. Sold a lot of merch that night, gained a lot of fans. So we're going to be traveling a lot more. We're trying to just get ourselves in front of more eyes and more ears so that we just, our music can be spread out more in Florida. And then finally, I'm going to be recording more music. So once this album cycle is through, which I'm not sure when it will be through, I feel like I'll be putting on our release show a lot of times throughout Florida. I do have more songs under my belt that I am ready to record. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, I thought I just saw that Sebastian Bach was performing, and was it down in Florida? There was something just like in the last couple of days. There was some benefit.
Sebastian just booked
Bach
a
or
tour.
something?
Yeah, he just booked a tour through October, and I believe he will be coming down here. I'll have to double check my dates, but I'm pretty sure that he is going to come down to South Florida.
Okay.
But that'll be in October. Yeah, I'm super stoked for all the bands that are now touring. I mean, Primus is coming to Orlando August 30th, and Primus is my favorite band, so I'm gonna definitely be going to that. Gojira is coming in October, And then Ginger, which is a Ukrainian groove metal band, they're coming in November. And it's pretty crazy. Those are like my 3 top favorite bands as of right now. And they're all coming in the same season.
Yeah.
Right after a major pandemic.
Is Primus still doing that tribute to Rush, or is that past?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're doing what, Farewell to Kings. They're doing Farewell to Kings from start to finish. And I've seen a video of them doing Xanadu, and it's pretty freaking cool. I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, no, that's pretty ambitious, you know. Obviously, a lot of people miss
They're tough.
Rush. You know, being a classic rock fan, being older than you know, growing up in the 70s and all that, you know, so few of those bands are still doing their thing. Obviously, Leonard Skinner is on their farewell tour, and Kiss is on their farewell tour, and looks like Aerosmith is definitely winding down. And, you know, it's will certainly be an end of an era, you know, when all those 70s bands, obviously with Edward Van Halen's passing, there's no more Van Halen. So, you know, what will that be like? You know, obviously their influence will carry on, but to, you know, not have any of those real trailblazing pioneers, you know, still out there performing.
Yeah, the Pioneers, as far as we know it, won't tour anymore unless they get a $1 billion deal or something. A reminder that Ozzy's trying to put on no more tours too. So the way that I put it is, you know, the pioneers who've been touring for 50 years definitely deserve a break, and I totally respect them not doing it anymore, which is sad. But when people say that rock is dead, that's just entirely false, because there are just so many really, really good rock and metal bands. Of course, they're more modern, but there are a lot of talented bands out there that are still going at it. And I'm gonna lump myself into there, where I'm definitely gonna be working hard. I'm gonna be touring. I'm gonna be setting myself out there, putting myself in front of as many eyes as possible, and hopefully getting on one of these tours, you know?
Yeah, no, it's important to keep it alive. I think some people, when they say something like that, they're referring to, you know, the old time record labels aren't around, MTV's not around, you know,
Yeah.
your average radio station is not playing new hard rock, you know, unless you're listening to Sirius XM or some specialty radio. And you know, it seems like they're kind of frustrated that what they came up with is no longer there for new artists to you know, thrive on. But
Well, all good things must come to an end, but you know, there is a new generation that has to pass on just the pure energy that comes from the rock star lifestyle, and it comes from the passion of just pure guitars, drums, bass, and um, and what these bands stylistically contribute to the genre, you know?
yeah, no, it's important to keep it alive. And I know there's of course Danny Wimmer and some of these big festivals that will
Exactly.
continue. Now the one that you were saying that Roy Anthony put on, what was the name of that festival again?
That's Rockfest 80s. And
Rockfest 80s. Are they still doing those?
um, as far as I know, I think
When was the last one? A couple years ago?
the last one was 2018, which was their third Rockfest 80s. That's that was their third Rockfest 80s, and then in 2020, February 2020, the golden month before everything went to shit, they had One Love Bahamas, which was a fundraiser concert right after the hurricane went through the Bahamas. And that headlined Yngwie Malmsteen, Lita Ford, Foghat, the Baha Men, and yours truly.
Oh, that's great. I had the honor of managing Steeler, back in the 80s, which was, of course, Yngwie's first band here in America. And,
Oh,
I
okay.
was heavily involved with that whole hard rock scene, coming out of LA, in the shadows of Van Halen, with Motley Crue and Dokken and Great White and Rat and,
Yeah,
all
that's
of that.
exactly it. That's the scene for you would dig Rockfest 80s. You would dig it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, it's amazing that, a lot of bands that came out later, they don't have that scene, but for whatever reason, I guess it's the age of a lot of the people that were in their teens or 20s, back then in the 80s.
Right.
They still enjoy seeing those bands, even though they're, featuring less original members and, maybe not at full power, but, it reminds them of their youth. And
Yeah,
it's a really thriving era.
for sure. No, I love 80s. And I've been told in my previous songs that I do have that influence, and it's very true. I mean, I love Motley Crue, I love Def Leppard. I actually know Rick Allen because um, in 2018, 2018 has it been that soon, where the Parkland shooting happened, and the Parkland shooting is 20 minutes away from my home. So in March of 2018, I put on a benefit concert and I raised $6,000 for the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Victims Fund. That was a really good show where I got people in my local area to come play the show, some really nice bands, really good singers, choirs from schools. And Rick Allen, the drummer for Def Leppard, sent his message of support to be played in front of the big screen at the concert. And ever since then, he's been showing a great amount of support. And I even got to meet him when Def Leppard came with Journey to Miami. So yeah, we Def Leppard has been included in my 80s influences. Who else? Quiet Riot, Rat, Phil Collins.
Yeah, no, it's a definite time to be celebrated. Now, obviously, the new music, King of Hearts, and all of that, the show coming up. Where's the best social media or website that the music lovers can go to not only check out what you got, but stay in tune with where you might be performing?
Yeah, my website and everything is on masonpacemusic.com. I'm on Instagram at Mason Pace. I'm on YouTube. If you type in Mason Pace, you'll find my music videos and my performance videos. I'm on Facebook. You type in Mason Pace and you'll find me. But yeah, my merch store, I've got brand new merchandise under the new album King of Hearts available on masonpacemusic.com, as well as where to stream, where my videos are, and how to book my band.
Fantastic. Well, our special guest has been Mason Pace. You definitely want to go check out the website, masonpacemusic.com. Listen and enjoy, tell your friends, and support, new music. So vital and so important. Mason, thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to following up with you in the future and charting your success.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay. Have a good one.